In the old times of vintage Sicily, the story of loyalty, love, and respect takes over for the fourth entry in the Mafia video game series. With its usual Mafia touch, we see the good and the bad that comes from commitment to a family from the perspective of Enzo Favara. It's finally time for my summary on the video game Mafia: The Old Country. This video might be a little bit longer than normal. I'm not actually too sure. I'm doing the audio right now, so in case it is, grab a snack, sit back, and enjoy the video. Alright, before we advance the video any further, there might be a TV playing in the background. Look, ain't nothing I could do about that. There should be music playing anyway, so hopefully it muffles out the TV. We'll get sound panels one day. But anyway, before we summarize the main story, we need to talk about the other things that were also important during this game, such as characters, weapons, etc. Here, we start with a brief talk about the area the game is in. San Celeste. It takes place in early 20th century Sicily, Italy. You can immediately tell that this is overseas with the rocks and the mountainous terrain, and the large mountain named Mount Etna looming over Valle Dorado, which is where the video game begins. We'll bring that up a little later. As usual with most modern games, the shadows and lighting in this game add that extra coolness for the graphics. For example, the lighting during the scene with Gaetano in the wrestling area, along with Enzo, shows the platform structure with light going through it. There's also the scene where Enzo is talking with Don Torrisi in his office, with the daytime light peeking through the window to cast shadows on Enzo. Little things like that can make a huge impression of, this looks real. Along with the mountainous area, you also get to see the yards and yards of Torrisi's vineyards, filled with grapes, ready to be sipped out of a chalice. This is also in coordination with all of the building structures throughout the game. For 1904 Sicily, the graphics looked really good, especially for a game that was $49.99 US. Yeah, this varies obviously by country. Also, we won't see it in this game, but there was a callback to Empire Bay, which is where Mafia 2 takes place. For the character section, we have quite a few we need to mention, starting with Enzo Favara, the main character, often dubbed Caruso, which means mountain boy, which is a callback to his OG identity as a mountain boy, as a miner basically. Literally, he was a miner. Just also as a cool FYI with Enzo, once he joins the Torrisi family, you'll notice pretty quickly who will keep calling him Caruso, or who will be calling him by his real name, Enzo. That's just something cool to kind of note with him. He has traits of loyalty, confidence, and lovingness. And in fact, he was very loving. He's so loving. It's to the point that he got the Don's daughter pregnant. Yeah, that's a long story that we're going to talk about in the summary, which is a funny transition to the next character, which is Don's daughter, named Isabella Torrisi. She's the only child of the Don, Bernardo Torrisi, and his late wife. I should say Torrisi, not Torrisi. She's introduced in a scene where Enzo is cleaning the horse stables, shortly after he was discovered by the Torrisi crew. Outside of eating her apple, very demure and very ladylike, we would go on to see that Isabella was confident, very loving as well, and also a wayfarer. She's also very ambitious for a new life outside of the usual Torrisi protection life, which made her and Enzo go well together. The next character we're going to mention is Bernardo Torrisi, also known as Don Torrisi, the head honcho of the Torrisi Crime Family. He has traits of loyalty, respect, and power, especially at certain points throughout the story, often quiet and very much kept to his inner circle. He's responsible for the Torrisi wine, which is a cover-up for other family quote-unquote activities. If you ever find yourself on his bad side, you will be toast. The next character up would be Luca Trapani, one of my favorite members of the Torrisi crime family. He has traits of leadership, or either one. Traits of leadership, respect, honesty, and loyalty. Very much the backbone to the Torrisi crime family, as we would see after some events that happen in the story. Luca also has a family, which includes Sam Trapani, who would go on to appear in the very first Mafia game with Tommy and Paulie, which I played that game on here. Please go check it out if you're interested. I would appreciate. I can't even talk. I'd appreciate it. Smile. Yeah. Nah. Okay. Shut up. Sam.
Didn't I tell you to watch the stove?
Amore mio.
The next character up is Cesare Massaro, the nephew of Bernardo Torrisi, but not by blood. It's because of marriage, which also means that Isabella is his cousin. He seems very proven to one day be a Don himself, as you will see and hear frequently later on in the story. He has traits of loyalty, charisma, confidence, and ambition. He's also the joker of the family, but that would change as the game would go on. The next character up is Tino Russo, probably my least favorite character in the Torrisi crime family. There are other characters that I didn't like compared to Tino. From the moment we saw Tino, he gave off vibes of you really don't want to get on his bad side, especially with his deep and raspy voice.
Why is this fireman there?
With him being older as well, he was very experienced with this lifestyle and had nothing to lose. He had traits of loyalty, manipulation, and being a tactician, which pretty much being very stealthy with getting info out of people that he was not supposed to know about. Very, very good character trait for his role, as you're gonna hear later on in the story. Another close family to the Torrisis was the Galante crime family, and the grandson Leo, he would go on to actually appear in Mafia 2 and Mafia 3. This game had many callbacks to certain characters from previous games, or their origins at least. The next character up will be Don Spadaro. I'm gonna just say right now, there will be a lot of words and or phrases that I'm not going to try to mispronounce. I'm not gonna try with Don Spadaro's first name. It's either Ruggero or Ruggero. I don't know who it is. Anyway, Don Spadaro is the crash out Don of the Spadaro family, mainly responsible for the Colizolfo's sulfur mine, as this is where the game will begin. He had traits of power, ambition, and manipulation. His relationship with the Galante and the Torrisi family eventually went to shit even more than it already was, as the game would go on to the end. Another least favorite character in the game, but there's actually another one that I did not like, and his name was Damiano Bastoni, aka Il Merlo. Now, this was the right-hand man to Don Spadaro. Il Merlo is also a nickname, that's why it says aka, and Il Merlo meant the Blackbird, which refers to his keen eyes and his sinister presence, which you definitely will see that. The next character up would be a bloodline affiliation with Damiano, and it would be his brother, Corrado Bastoni, aka El Ombra, and the same traits as his brother, and often seen in the game several times, if not just as much as Il Merlo, until El Ombra got packed up, but we'll talk about that later. The nickname El Ombra meant the shadow, which refers to El Ombra's ominous ways, also of being very stealthy as well in certain clips, which you'll see. Other characters and or family members that we need to note: Don Fontanella, a former family member of the Torrisi family, who did dirty business with Spadaro, and he learned his lesson, let's just say that. There's also Niccolo Galante, which is the grandfather of Leo and friend to the Torrisi family. Very much a let's meet in the middle person when it came to the Dons discussing things. We would also have Father Ciccone, the father of the church grounds for the Torrisi territory, which I mentioned him because he'll actually be important at the end of the story. And then we had Messina's gang, one of the gangs that you'll run into during the story. Very brute forces and connected to the Spadaros. Moving into the next sequence, we now get into the weapons section of the game. You saw the preview screen about things and what they're going to mean, so I don't need to talk about that any further. Starting with knives, we get into... this is going to be one of the examples of things I'm not going to know how to pronounce, but I'm thinking it's Scanutri. Whatever, regardless if I'm pronouncing it wrong, obviously, look, slap me in the head, okay? Sicilian style throwing knife, utilized in this game for throw takedowns. In this category, and you're gonna see the pictures and stuff as well, we have the Viperi, we have the Lupu, the Agiri, the Tigri, the Verkanu, the Spectru, and the Scanutri Special, which is DLC. Next up, we have the Rasulu in the knife category, known for its razor-like blade and often used as a utility knife. The first one here we have is the Draguni, the Paladinu, the Guerreri, the Cavaliru, the Spartenza, and the Rasulu Special, which is an event-related earning. And the last thing up in the knife category, we have the Stiletto, specialized dagger with a long slender blade, used for thrusting and primary for self-defense. The first one we have here is the Colossu, then we have the Imperatori, again, you know, name things, etc. We have the Eternu, the Forzuni, the Ragiadu. My gumption wants to take over so hard right now to try to pronounce this, but if there's something I don't know how to pronounce, I'm not trying. The one you're seeing on your screen, it is what it is. It is what it is. And then we also have the Stiletto Special, which is a DLC item. Now we go from knives to guns, and we start with the sidearms, obviously weapons that are quick fire, basically close distance to enemies and stuff like that. The first one we have is the Bodeo. We have the Bodeo Nero, the Lupara Special, the Lupara, you know, yeah. We have the Modelo C96. Sorry about the LA Knights stuff. Or actually, I'm not sorry. It's LA Knights gaming, yeah. The Vendetti Special, the Gazera MK2, and Vito's 1911. Next up, we have long guns. These are guns from far distances, basically. I don't have to explain much else. We have the Barker Model 8, the Barker Model 11, the Barker Model 15, yeah. The Infernale, the Carcano, the Precision. That one sounded good as hell. Wait a minute, Tony Parker. No, what? Let me not do that. The pump action shotgun and the repeater. That's so funny because this is Italian. That's not French. You know what? Forget it. Last thing we have up is throwables. And these are items that you could throw and or utilize during combat. We have grenades. You can use coins in this game for distractions to get stealth kills against Guardi, especially, or police officers, basically. And you can get bottles actually to knock out enemies on certain sites while you're in a battle of some sort. In regards to the vehicles and their vehicle comparisons, obviously will be on the screen. They're going to be listed. We start with the Beneventi 24 horsepower. We have the Montenero, the Bolt Model 1, the Carosella Mark II, the Carosella Nero, another Carosella. We have the Tesoro. We have the Delizia Calabrone, another Delizia. This is Type 86. The Dufort 30. We have another Dufort, the Camionette. I like that name for some reason. We have the Eckhart Dominion. We have the Eckhart Special, the Garzia Tumulto, the Trottenberg 3600, another Trottenberg, the Sport Renner, and we have Tommy's Taxi from the very first Mafia game, which again I played. Please go check that out if you're interested, because we're gonna be taking a break from uploading anyway, so go watch that until like the end of April, you know. I'm not gonna lie, I thought they had more vehicles in the game. If anything has been added, because the game has had some updates since it first dropped. Obviously you can go find out yourself. I did all I could with this research, but anyway, another quick FYI before we actually get into the story summary. There isn't much to do outside of the game, outside of actually like playing the story. The story is very linear. The game is very linear. Unless you want to take breaks yourself, you have to save and then do whatever else you got to do. Go into the garage and then drive around. There isn't really much with side missions and stuff like that though. And it should be known that this was already known before the game came out. It was a big reason why the game was only $49.99. So if you didn't know before release, you knew after, basically. So now we can actually shut the hell up and stop mispronouncing shit. And now it's time for the summary. Another quick FYI, there are little collectibles you can have in the game, such as little cards, safe codes, and all that other stuff. So keep that in mind as well if you decide to play the game or anything like that. Mafia the Old Country begins in Valle Dorata, in a very retro version of Sicily in 1904 at the Calizzolfo sulfur mines. Immediately, we're introduced to two Carusus, or a term for male mine workers, Enzo Favara and his amigo Gaetano. In the mines, we discovered that they have a box hidden with special items: Gaetano's savings of denarii, a postcard from Enzo's uncle with Empire Bay on it, and a mini toy horse, when two of these items would be very important at the end of the game. It should be noted as well in the Mafia universe that Empire Bay is a fictional version of New York City, with elements from Chicago, San Francisco, and Detroit. Making their way through, we get introduced to one of the bastards in the game, Il Merlo, or Damiano Bastoni. The nickname Il Merlo means the Blackbird, which is very descriptive of his keen look. You immediately get to see, as well, that he's very powerful. But the funny thing is that he's just the head honcho to Don Spadaro, aka the Don of all this little area with the sulfur mines. After our little run-in with Il Merlo, we see many other mine workers along with the Smoky, which is very concerning, Mount Etna. Now, this won't be the last time we see Mount Etna like this either, which is very unfortunate. After all of the work that was done underground in the mines, it was time for Enzo and Gaetano to eat, but it didn't come without hardships, as most of the food for the workers was already gone. So after a little game of rock, paper, scissors, Enzo and Gaetano played stealthy and grabbed food from Don Spadaro's food storage office. This gave a slight preview in regards to the stealth that Enzo would have to use later on in the game. And double shifts happen with no extra pay, so you don't even get to eat with Gaetano. What they say in this game? Vegan Butana. Hey, vegan Butana, don't say that in real life. Vegan Butana is, I think that means son of a bitch. I'm not gonna say the actual B word because I don't like saying that too much, but son of a bitch. Don't say vegan Butana out loud though. Don't do that. That's bad. Anyway, we once again go through manipulation and power from Spadaro and Il Merlo specifically, as we have to go back into the mines, and this time it proved to be deadly. Whilst also finding notes, we found dead fellow mine workers, fellow dead mine workers, that these notes belonged to. Then it was time to run from the natural gas to escape the dangers, and we would do so, but without Gaetano, along with most of his denarii that he had saved. The game starting with this much heartbreak was not for the weak. I didn't cry or anything, but it was pretty sad to just start like that out of the gate.
Hey!
La Umbra. Or Umbra.
You did this. You sent us down there. No one tells us she will, boy. Just get them back to work, huh? Figli puttana.
Oh, and he spin around. Oh, you gonna let him punch you like that?
Tongue, Caruso, if you want to keep it.
Enzo going up to Il Merlo after this was the correct thing to do, since he specifically chose us to go down there, and we would experience the first of many combat fights, but it would start with knives. And for a $49.99 US game, the combat here was good enough, although I played the game on medium, so do what you want with that. We would slash Il Merlo in the face too. Then it was time to run. In the face! Get sliced! Oh shit! Following the beginning credits, we see Enzo in a completely new area away from the mines. Keep in mind as well that Enzo has not eaten yet, so he's doing all of this on an empty stomach. Eesh, damn, cuh. During this hiding portion, we also get introduced to stealth tactics with the stealthy kills, which will serve as a very important thing to know for the rest of the game. Whetstone would also be introduced here, so we had the ability to sharpen our knife blades. Eventually, Il Merlo would spot us, and then, boom! A very loud shotgun in the air. Nobody got killed, obviously. It was just like an alert shot. Oh?
What are you doing here, Damiano?
And this is where we're introduced to some of our new family, quote unquote. It's a crime family, with the head honcho being Bernardo Torrisi. Torrisi called that man by his government name. That was just very funny to see. It should be noted as well, most of these Dons know each other in some sort of specific way. Not too much, but a little bit. They know about each other. With a quick introduction to Don Torrisi, we also get introduced to my personal favorite character in the game, Luca Trapani, the father of Sam Trapani from the very first Mafia game. A very loyal, but also wise character in the Torrisi family, and you can definitely see Sam's traits in a way in his dad. After some rest, we meet a new character, who looks about Enzo's age, maybe a little bit older, give or take. Cesare Massaro.
Susiti! I tell you, mine boy, say hello.
He gives off young, funny, and also charismatic vibes, as he helps Enzo navigate under the Torrisi umbrella. Following this, we eventually see a note about instructions for grape harvesting, which is a cover-up for other activities that the Don Torrisi is doing. Enzo immediately gets up to work after freshening up and goes around meeting some new faces, including Valentina, the wife of Luca Trapani. Also, a funny thing to note, we had to lift a whole slab of a pig cut in half. I ain't gonna lie, I thought the video was gonna just get hit with some restriction cheese, but I'm surprised it didn't. Like, they cut the pig to eat for the little dinner, which we'll mention in a little bit. The pig was cut east to west. It was cut horizontally. It looked very insane. You'll see it in the background.
It's just there on that table.
Oh, we got actual. Oh gosh. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Yo, I'm so sorry if y'all have to see that. During the time of getting the pig ready for the large dinner, Valentina would explain to Enzo how certain things go for them and what to expect. Peeping out another note, we have a guest list of people that we would expect, or that we can expect to see. After this stuff, it was time to clean the horse stables. And during this, we would run into a character that would change our entire trajectory for the rest of the game. Isabella Torrisi. Became a thing.
Who are you?
Uh-oh. Ooh.
Sono Enzo. I work here. For now.
You have not always been a stable hand.
No.
Well, we do not always get to choose what we do.
Suppose not.
While eating her apple in a very demure and ladylike way, she chops it up with us for a bit. And yeah, man.
See you around, Enzo.
Yeah. You light my fire. During that dinner, Enzo, again, I want you to remember, Enzo had not eaten yet, so he was hungry and he ate like he had never ate before, man. And we would once again spot Isabella during this event in a green dress. For chapter 2, we travel with Luca and one of Torrisi's longest tenured workers, and we head to Pasquale, an auto mechanic who owns a store and gas station. During our stop, we head downstairs to get our first combat weapon in the game, a knife, which we ended up choosing the Rasulu Special. Now, it was time to learn the ways to fight with a knife in combat, as Luca would teach us what we would need to know without even asking. This is why he's one of my favorite characters. He just got Enzo ready without having to ask. I respect that kind of stuff from people. Following this, we head down to a horse race, and we find out Torrisi's guy wouldn't be able to compete due to a hangover that he had, more than likely with Cesare. And Enzo would agree to step in after hearing about it because he saw Isabella in the tent with the rest of them. He wanted to impress her and her dad. This would be the first of many instances of helping out Don Torrisi, slowly gaining his respect.
He's got this. Just
Did we win? Oh, it's right there. Wait. Don't slow down. Go! Yeah! Leave the freaking hand claps. Following the victory, we would get alone time to go make a delivery, and Isabella would decide to join Enzo. We would learn some things about her perspective on this lifestyle, and we'd also find out about her mother. She dealt with an illness, so RIP. However, it didn't go smoothly as planned, as El Hombre, one of the Spadaro forces, would find his way onto the turf during the horse race, and we got into our first knife combat of the game, which that Luca little lesson that Luca would help us out with combat seems like it came up pretty clutch. Oh yeah, get on to the ground. Oh, headbutt like Rhea Ripley.
Hey! Shit, leave!
Them lessons came up clutch, eh?
Figli puttana, get the fuck out!
Got it. Like Carmelo.
Enzo was standing up for me.
Yes? Good. Things can get out of hand on race day.
The fight eventually gets interrupted by Luca as he scrammed El Hombre and his crew away. Don Torrisi wouldn't be told about this, as he takes Isabella's safety very seriously and already has a high disdain towards Don Spadaro. After our time with Izzy, she then leaves a note to Enzo asking to meet her, as this takes us into chapter 3. I should mention as well, if you do go meet up with Isabella, Tino will catch you talking with her. You know, don't snoop around and stuff like that.
Hey. What are you doing?
Looking for Luca.
How is he here? Sticking around where you don't belong would be the last thing you do. Capisti?
Chapter 3 would have Enzo joining Luca and Cesare to go around collecting funds from those doing business with Don Torrisi. This was very similar to the mission in Mafia 1, also known as the Definitive Edition, when one of Tommy's first missions with Sam and Paulie would also be the collecting of funds. Damn! Get up! Yo! I want to ram him so bad, bruh. Pause. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Pause. Oh, my gosh. Bruh. This is crazy. Look at the Goodyear blimp in the sky.
Defended by Cephalosha. It's Parker.
Oh, that was free aid. Freak out of here, thug.
A cold-blooded game-winning shot by Parker.
During this chapter, there were many people that seemingly didn't want to hand over the funds for doing business. The first person was a citrus farmer and his son, who would eventually see a gun. This was one of the first of many times that Enzo would have his hands on a gun. For this though, it was used as a scare tactic. This chapter would show how Don Torrisi's business operated day by day in different means and ways. During one of these collections, one of our business partners had property stolen from them by a group named Messina's Gang, who are affiliated with the Spadaros. I bring them up because we'd run into them again with more substantial actions. Anyways, we'd have our first gunfight of the game, and it was hard to adjust to. But eventually, Enzo and Cesare would handle business in that gunfight. It was hard to deal with. The gunfighting in this game wasn't bad for $49.99. It was good enough, I'd say. It wasn't very problematic or anything like that. Remember how I mentioned Messina's Gang just a few seconds ago? Well, they came back, and their whole scheme was coordinated with their Spadaro affiliation. In this chapter, we get to see a little bit more about Isabella and her love ambitions. On the other hand, Don Torrisi apparently had a plan to hook up Isabella with Gennaro Fontanella, the son of Don Fontanella, who has a close affiliation with Don Torrisi for the time being. That's going to change later on. Sounds like very much like a fairy tale story. During this chapter, Isabella frequently expresses how she wished that she had more freedom with her choosing of love interests due to her father's business. During this chapter, we get to see Enzo and Isabella spending more time together, staring at the temple ruins along with taking pictures for the first time in this game. She also let Enzo borrow her camera, and Isabella clearly enjoyed spending time with someone outside of the Torrisi connections, directly speaking. Following the initial hangout with Isabella, Gennaro and Isabella go off to hang out for a while Enzo and Cesare get in the whip, as we're introduced to the driving techniques for the first time in the game. This skill would prove to be very important within the next little while. While we were in our mini circuit, we eventually would hear gunshots from hunters, which are from Messina's gang, and we ended up in another gunfight, and it was because of a coordinated kidnapping of Gennaro Fontanella and Isabella. Enzo and Cesare would then go on to hunt to find Isabella and Gennaro. Isabella would get rescued, and then her and Enzo would share a secret kiss, which was the start of a whole lot of good and a whole lot of bad, family-wise at least. Enzo would go back to rescue Gennaro. Cesare didn't really care to, but Enzo wanted to because of the goodness of his heart, and when they returned, Enzo had a huge respect uptick from the Torrisi family when they returned. As for the kidnapping, it was coordinated by a guy named Ludovici, who was a former business partner of Don Fontanella. This particular dispute was over shares in the Calizoffo sulfur mine from the beginning of the game. Following the kidnapping, Don Torrisi finds out that the person behind the kidnapping was a guy named Ludovici. We just mentioned him. Don Torrisi said initially that he wasn't going to get involved, but when Isabella also got kidnapped, it became personal, and Don Torrisi assigned Enzo with another big task of taking care of Ludovici. During this chapter as well, Enzo had it in his mind that if he gained the respect of Don Torrisi, he would eventually let him marry Isabella, but what LA Knights say? Nah! I should also mention that Enzo never would ask Don Torrisi directly about that kind of thing, so I guess it was just one of those things like, man, I'm helping you out, so, you know, can I get with your daughter? No, papi. No. Following the talk with Don Torrisi, we would head down to Valerio's armory to get ourselves some heat. This is where most of the weapons will be in the game. After the weapons got equipped, it was time to head to Ludovici's villa, or a large luxury property. That's what they call it overseas, a villa. Basically like a large mansion property. And work our way through many guards and eventually get to Ludovici himself. If you like that kind of environment, you'll like that mission. I enjoyed it. It reminded me of that one mission we did in Mafia 1 where we also went on a large property to get somebody. I can't remember what it was or what I'm thinking of, but it was with a foreign guy. And he wasn't fluent in English, I believe. I'll show it if I can find it. Let's see. We checked here already, right? Yeah, we were talking about Ryan Leslie right here. What? Wait. What the? We're not... What? What? Man, why do you got the... Why do you got the black character looking silly like that? Why they got housekeeping looking silly like that? What's going on, 2K? What? Yo, how am I getting shot? Oh, shit! God damn!
Heavy bastard!
Heavy bastard! Put Ludovici in the car. That was a fun mission, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, we would get through many guards and eventually get to Ludovici himself. We would also do so with Stealth and Chaos and with Tino and some other Torrisi guys watching over our back just to keep an eye out for us. The way Ludovici would get packed up was insane, dude. He had the money in his mouth. Like, it was so bad for you wanting those shares. Like, it was so bad about those shares. It is insane, man. Following this, more respect is gained from Don Torrisi. In fact, it came to the point where Enzo was officially initiated into the Torrisi family by blood oath. Following the last chapter, we also try to get more serious with Isabella, and we officially get access to a personal car garage. For chapter 6, Don Torrisi and Don Galante wanted to find a way to counter Spadaro's large influence that was starting to grow, and they decided to do so by counterfeiting US currency. Keep E in the Chevys on switches. Well, not that currency, but shout out anyway. Shout out to the Jet Life. Their main guy they'd go to for this currency counterfeiting would be Giuseppe Palmenteri, a loudmouth guy who was locked up, and they needed to get him out to accomplish this goal. The plan would begin with scoping out the Guardi station, where Giuseppe was being held, and finding Don Torrisi's informant on the Guardi station property for more information. During this, we would also run into Isabella and Valentina at the produce market that was being held on the property. I should mention as well, Isabella was very close with Valentina, kind of like a mother figure in a way, basically. They talked about a lot of stuff. In the Guardi station mission, there would be a lot of codes and notes as well. For the Guardi station riot, we went through a lot of rooms. There were a lot of rooms in there, but it's basically a police station, so that kind of makes sense. We would get through a lot of hurdles as well, but eventually we would get Giuseppe out. But while we were doing that, we ran into El Hombre. Why are you back here, bro? Why are you back, bro? And he witnessed us doing this with no face cover or no mask of any kind. So he knows who's getting this guy out of here for this counterfeiting cheese. Them bullets, bro. Run. Are you serious? After that, we got into knife combat with one of the guards, and it wasn't easy, but thank God we had many people in on the riot, including Leo and Cesare, who would then show up to get us out of there. But remember that El Hombre had spotted us. Isabella, on the other hand, showed up at Enzo's apartment to, chill with them. Yeah, Enzo also would get a new apartment after a little while. It was actually the night of the blood oath, I want to say. Now that Giuseppe was out and helping the operation of counterfeiting US currency, we would see that we received goods for doing this operation with US affiliations. Leo Galante would show Enzo and Cesare the goods they received via trade, and one of the items included was a beat up race car. And so it was time to race. It should be mentioned as well, it was the Carosella. I'm not specifically sure which one, but it was a Carosella. They said it during the mission. In order to win this race, obviously in an unfair manner, Leo would decide that he would blackmail the organizer named Marquis Siragusa, which is a very smart tactic. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. Leo would send the car off to Pasquale's, the guy we met earlier, for a repair on the car, which the car had bullets in it, by the way, which, I mean, it's an illegal operation that these guys are doing with the US, so you're not gonna get the freshest Rolls Royce off of a freaking factory or anything like that. And on the other hand, Enzo would make his way up to blackmail the organizer via photograph, which for the guy that got caught, he was canoodling with I don't know how to put it, that's why I kind of stuttered. let's just say he slept with some workers, he slept with prostitutes.
What?
After that, the Carosella would get fixed up, and Enzo would take the whip for a spin with some of the fastest speeds we would experience in the game so far. Through trials and tribulations, Enzo and Cesare would go on to win the race and celebrate afterwards. It also should be mentioned as well that Isabella and Enzo would once again chill together, so they really want to take it serious, but some people don't know about it. Some do. I don't know, Jim. Things begin on a rocky road, no ice cream, as Tino would stop by Enzo's apartment to let him know that there was a rat in the operation, allegedly. He also stopped by at a funny time since Enzo and Isabella were canoodling the night before.
I have to talk. It's urgent.
Uh-oh.
Who's it?
No one. Why?
You have a woman here. Get her out of here.
There's nobody here.
Don't lie to me.
I said there's nobody.
Don't question it. Now, remember how I mentioned earlier that El Hombre saw us getting Giuseppe out of that Guardia station ride, right? Well, it came back to bite us as he was actually working in coordination with the cops to tell them about the whole breaking Giuseppe out of jail thing.
You see, Torrisi had this going on right under your nose and
Oh, it's El Hombre.
Hey, remember your place. The agreement stands, but get in my way and I'll haul you in with the rest.
as soon as I find out what we agreed on, I'll be gone. And
You see that? So because of this, Enzo and Cesare would go on to handle business they get assigned to do so. And they would go on to guard the printing press where the counterfeit money was being produced. We would get there and discover El Hombre in the scuffle with Cesare, which leads to a chase and the eventual bink boop bop on the head of El Hombre. Where Cesare at?
Working with the Guardia.
Yeah, get the info out of
Spadaro
him
set this up.
before he try to kill him.
don't we?
There you go. Wow, no! Yes, but no.
It was a capo regime, Cesare. It was our sole G. Rat.
Should have took that gun. That's free aim.
We can't leave
free
him
aim.
here.
Free ammo. Time to dig. I said dig. Damn, hurry up. That one Tubi movie.
Hurry up. I got shit to do. Damn. I said hurry up. Damn, dig.
Oh, Edwards! A signature slam! He's at another level. Timeout. 2:12 left. 4-point game.
This was a smart thing for Cesare to do, since El Hombre getting clapped with noticeable evidence, such as bullets or any sort of stab wounds, would have provoked obviousness for direct allegations. It was more so a mysterious he just ran off the road ordeal, rather than he was shot, which he wasn't. Tensions would now continue to rise between Don Spadaro and Don Torrisi following the death of El Hombre. Or the killing. Well, he got hit in the head with a shovel. I ain't gonna lie, your head is... Never mind. I was about to say the biggest pause of all time.
You what?
Honestly, you know what? I was gonna say his head was weak, but you know what? Stop. Go to the next chapter now. Now. Go to the next chapter now. Stop. Stop talking right now. Chapter 9 now. For chapter 9, we went down to a factory, but it wasn't just a factory. It's the factory of Don Fontanella. He actually will receive an extortion letter threatening to close this factory after differences with Spadaro about sulfur mine related things. And Don Torrisi decided to help out Don Fontanella, especially during the Spadaro power-led times that they were in. The person that we needed to look for was a man named Lorenzetti, a Torrisi enforcer who was managing the factory of Don Fontanella. It was very odd, and it was a very odd situation, since nobody had heard from Lorenzetti in a little bit, so it was up to Enzo to find him for the one-man job. And in doing that, we had to go around asking people if they knew about where Lorenzetti was. He was also a loudmouth, I should have mentioned that, and we eventually would get the scoop. The harder thing on top of this come on, man. We just had the other pause. Forget it. The other thing on top of this pause was that the factory was being guarded by Spadaro's men after they took over. And eventually we would get inside after combat to find Lorenzetti in Fontanella's office where he was laying with a bullet before dying a slow death.
Beat me. Took everything.
Oh, man.
Merlo.
He was here.
Chased the workers away. They want to lean on Fontanella.
Oh, man. Well, he's gonna die.
Can you move?
No.
Lorenzetti! Lorenzetti!
He's dead.
Merda.
He's probably gonna bleed out anyway. Il Merlo, huh? And then here goes Il Merlo. You mother... Y'all remember Il Merlo, right? Them demons are coming back. But we're different now.
Would not be the first time, huh?
You always been a little bastard to us.
We'll
Oh,
bleed
really?
your man Fontanella dry. He's finished.
Il Merlo would proceed to light a flame and slowly destroy the factory. So it was time to escape before it was too late.
Easy.
Crap.
If you worked around deadly asbestos,
especially retired Navy veterans, and have been diagnosed with mesothelioma,
call 1-800-4...
The escape was loaded with Spadaro's men. We'd eventually fight and handle a big brute in knife combat, but ultimately the factory went to smithereens, which carries us perfectly into the next chapter, since Il Merlo would go on to escape the factory situation. La Festa is taking place in chapter 10 for Luca and his family, as they have their newborn blessed on the church ground by Father Ciccone, and then they celebrate. Before this happens though, Enzo had the personal blessing from Don Torrisi to escort Isabella to La Festa. It's just kind of like, hey man, like, at that point, like, you're making it obvious that you trust it. Never mind, we'll bring up Izzy and we'll bring that up later. I should mention as well, Isabella had that. She had that shit on, bruh. She looked very nice in this scene. Enzo and Isabella would talk for a little bit in a quiet little conversation about a potential future together. And Isabella would mention how she knows her father and that he won't approve of them being together, which, I mean, he let you escort, you know what? Stop. Anyways, after the baby was blessed, immediate nonsense happens as Il Merlo is back and he is at a high level.
Step forward.
Look at that shit.
Assassino! Go!
Time to run. Look at that cheese. Boom! An assassination happens to a side character. It's not an important character. And it's on us to find our way to Il Merlo. Oh, hell nah, bruh. Enzo.
Continue.
Oh! No, bruh. Get up, get up. Luca and Cesare would join Enzo on the hunt to handle Il Merlo. After running through many rooms and traveling on many roofs, we eventually get to Il Merlo and settle things in knife combat 3 different times. And the last one would end up very far away from church grounds, which, by the way, sniping somebody on church grounds is Jesus, man, what the hell, bro? What the hell is wrong with people in this game, man? We end up tussling, and eventually Luca saves the day and finishes Il Merlo. Luca came up clutch a lot of times during this video, especially during combat. Cesare got wounded, but not severely. But Luca came up clutch, bro. Luca Doncic, freaking heck. This was also one of many times that Enzo would show his kind of newness to this lifestyle because of Il Merlo. It was kind of tough for him to really end him, but it was kind of like a mental mind block. But of course, Enzo's mindset would grow as time would go on throughout the game. And chapter 11, it would be one of the chapters that would change everything moving forward.
Things will settle down, you will see.
I mean, that is true. That can be scary.
Hey,
this life.
didn't mean to interrupt.
You didn't. I was just leaving.
Minchia. You have all this to look forward to when you're married, Enzo. Everyone's ready?
I think so.
Then we better go.
After the war between Spadaro and Torrisi, it seemed that it was time to calm everything down before everyone got in trouble. So Don Galante would invite both Spadaro and Torrisi to come together and talk. Don Galante was very much the let's meet in the middle person, which was very important for an atmosphere like this. They would come together, and then Don Fontanella would reveal during this talk that he would decide to sell his remaining share of land ownerships to Spadaro, which obviously creates an unfair advantage and elevates Don Spadaro's power and influence. This would also include Torrisi's vineyards as well, and obviously Don Torrisi wasn't happy about any of this. He would be made an offer for a very small amount of holdings on those properties, and obviously it was a no. Following that would be an instant raid of Spadaro's men in the place, which it signifies that he had them ready beforehand. So this is crazy, bro. He had them ready beforehand, bro. That's insane. Our vineyard. Look at that! Whoa! Oh my gosh! Oh! Oh no! You see that? Flip the table. Oh my gosh! Shit! Oh my gosh! The first thing that would happen after this raid would be that Don Galante would get packed up. The man that wanted them to meet in the middle and have the game is tough, man. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And then Luca gets shot. The heart and soul of the group was wounded, and it was up to Don Torrisi to carry him around, while Enzo would lead the way to finding an escape to save Luca and themselves. Leo would join in as we ventured further and have their own little conversations, and eventually Cesare with the vehicle would show up, or would be waiting for them outside. You can also cue the one mission with the moving vehicle part, which we would also go through in Mafia 1. There we go. We missed that one. There we go. That Molotov cheese. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, dog. We would make our way to a bar with Torrisi affiliation, and we would do our best to save Luca. But ultimately, it would be too late. The one thing Luca would say to Enzo before departing would stay with Enzo for the rest of the story. Inside the bar.
God, forgive me. Let's look at me. Get up. If you can. Get up. Luca.
No.
Luca.
No, bruh.
Luca! Luca!
No, man.
Luca. I've got it. I've got Luca, svegliati!
Too late. These two losses of Don Galante and Luca meant that it was wartime against Don Spadaro and Don Fontanella, and that the ultimate revenge plan was being prepped and being ready on standby. The vibes following these two losses were very eerie and quiet for most, as Luca was the glue guy, and all of a sudden, it was over. Things wouldn't be the same again for the rest of the story. After the events of Chapter 11, Chapter 12 shaped up to be the revenge of all revenge. Following the two big losses of Don Galante and Luca, it was time to go band for band, and we hit the Spadaros hard. The plan was put into motion to eliminate Don Spadaro and Don Fontanella during an opera show they'd be in attendance to. This wouldn't be an easy task though, as it was heavily guarded with police presence. Also, as an FYI, out of nowhere, Isabella's pregnant now with Enzo's kid. Yeah, they did have nights together, so that would make sense. Also though, condoms were invented way before this time period, man. I still don't understand how Enzo just didn't think before he made his move and got the Don's daughter pregnant during a time in which he is becoming very powerful. There are other women in this game that Enzo could have gotten with, but we're gonna save that for, save it for the summer. Save it for when we talk later. Stop. No, stop.
Enzo. I'm pregnant.
Huh? In fact, time for a funny Siri question. Hey Siri. What year were condoms invented?
Condoms have been around since at least the 16th century, with the first recorded use found in 1564 by the Italian anatomist Gabriele Falloppio. This is from FedAnUphold.com.
Salute. Thanks. The 16th century! What are you doing? The 16th century! We are in like the 19th century? 20th? We're in the early 1900s. What are you doing? It also should be known that initially, not everybody would know about it, but only a few characters would know about this whole pregnancy, which includes Enzo, it would include Father Ciccone, and it would include Valentina, because Isabella and Valentina talk very frequently in this game. I wish we would have saw more perspectives of stuff like that, but we didn't get that in this game. Yeah, I'll take what I can get. Anyways, we would make our way to the Opera House via Torrisi transportation and meet one of our allies to sneak into the Opera House unnoticed on some Ninja Turtle cheese. We would get inside and we would use stealth tactics to avoid workers and performers. We would do so and handle Don Fontanella inside the Opera House. Just you and me, huh? Holy shit!
So a good man die.
My gosh!
People mourn him. Who the fuck would grieve for you?
Oh my! And nobody even knows it. Ooh! Fell over the top. Oh, that's cinema. Them dudes just had blood falling on them. Look at that shit. Yo! After Don Fontanella would get put down to the ground, we would run all over the place to find Don Spadaro, and we would do so in knife combat and finish off Don Spadaro, along with taking a likely prize ring. One of the interesting things to note was that during combat, Spadaro would say that Torrisi didn't care if he made it back or not, which is very true coming from Spadaro. Oh, whoa! Okay, that's not me. Got him! Put him down to the ground! Make him suffer for all the shit that he did to us. Goodbye! Ooh! Sound like the Yin Yang twins. Now, was Spadaro right about Torrisi not really caring if he made it back? Well, this kind of game is just the average role player on an NBA team. If you don't make it, then somebody else will. The thing to remember is that all of these Dons know each other pretty well to an extent. And, well, Spadaro was right. In games or movies like this or anything, you are a replaceable asset for a dirty operation. You have to keep in mind as well that Tommy went through this in the very first Mafia game. The feeling of being a part of a family, taking heat for the family, etc. Even in Goodfellas, as an example, which great gangster movie by the way, for this kind of family lifestyle, that's a good movie. Check that out if you've never seen it before. It's all bullshit when it gets out of hand, or if you just want a new life. Dons never forgive or forget. Also, we almost got caught escaping via Torrisi transportation when this mission was over, but we got extremely lucky. The end of the chapter had Enzo paying his respects to Luca since he missed the service, quote unquote, doing work for the family. Him and Isabella would once again hope to get out of the current atmosphere and make it to Empire Bay. Won't be too much here, but chapter 13 continues the journey of handling business for Don Torrisi. But now, we're seeing a side of him that was crazy, which included now taking ownership of the College Awful Sulphur Mine following Spadaro and Don Fonella getting packed up. Don Torrisi's respect for Enzo would increase substantially in this chapter, which Cesare wasn't the biggest fan of, mentally speaking at least. Enzo would be tasked as the overseer of the sulfur mine, but that deal would hinge on Izzy's commitment to Gennaro, which that's also still going on. With this typical business, we would be tasked with finishing off powerful people remaining from Spadaro's family. Tino also he thought something was off with Enzo for just some sort of reason here. We would eliminate Spadaro forces, and one of them is actually caught hiding in Father Ciccone's church. Obviously, he's with the Torrisi family. And in result, Father Ciccone would be interrogated for betraying the Torrisi family by hiding Spadaro's men, or one of his Spadaro's men, excuse me. This specific moment defined how powerful Don Torrisi was becoming, very similar to what Spadaro was becoming. After that business is taken care of, the guys go out to celebrate, the younger ones at least, like Cesare and Enzo. They would celebrate at the bar, and during this scene, Leo would sit down with Enzo to thank him for getting revenge for his grandfather, Niccolo Galante, obviously, and gives him false identification to get ready for departure to Empire Bay. It should be mentioned that Leo and Enzo actually talked about this kind of plan beforehand.
That thing we talked about. Don't worry about him. If you go, stay calm. That's my advice. All my business here is done. We'll be on our way soon.
I really hope the TV isn't
Inside,
too loud.
There's an address. Franco's cousin. You get over the water. You write him, alright?
Wow. During this scene as well, Leo also revealed that he and his remaining associates in the Galante family would also be departing from the area, which was, hey man, Leo Galante, the Galantes were very smart. Like, Leo, it was smart because after everything that happened, it was very clear that there was no reason to stay in the area. I mean, it's just thinking ahead of time, big brain stuff, bro. Now, I will admit at first, initially, I did have my suspicions about this moment, but Leo was also making the same move with his crew as us, and after the things that had happened, honestly, I didn't really think he would rat out Enzo, which he didn't, which carries us into the final chapter. It was finally time for Enzo and Isabella to make their way to Empire Bay. The vibes when this chapter started was that it was overcast. I should mention as well, when it comes to video games, I'm a big weather nerd, and whenever it's cloudy or raining, usually some sort of chaos happens. It's every single game with the story, bruh. Before hopping onto the train together, Isabella and Enzo talk about their future and how they can't wait to arrive to Empire Bay. During this, Enzo would hand Isabella the little pony from the beginning of the game. Obviously, that was with the Empire Bay, the little card from Enzo's uncle and Gaetano's money that he had saved up, right? He had the little pony there. Now, as soon as they get ready to board, here comes Tino around the corner.
Leaving without saying goodbye.
Enzo!
Look at Cesare.
I always knew you were trouble, Caruso. Now you're gonna get what's coming to you.
Get your hands off me!
And he's not the only one. Why don't you call and tell us about your dirty little secret? It broke your father's heart. So much for the sanctity of the confession, huh?
You bastard!
Let her go!
But your sins may yet be absolved. Your father's made arrangements.
Oh my gosh.
No! No!
Pick it up. I said, pick it up. Get him out of here.
Enzo, I love you!
I'll find you! I'll find you!
As mentioned in the character section, Tino is known in this game for snooping around and getting info out of people, which is great for this storyline. He actually would find out about this stuff that was going on via Father Ciccone after he got interrogated in the last chapter. That's some bullshit, bruh. And at this moment, this would be the final time Enzo and Isabella would see each other.
Laughter! I don't want to hear it! You thought you could just run off and disappear together? This life destroys everything good. I had to make a choice. Minchia, you ruined it! You've thrown away everything my uncle's given you! What's he given me? Huh? He's made me a thief, Cesare! A murderer! You did that! You pulled the trigger, always! You chose this!
We have a problem back there? Need something to cover his mouth?
I'm handling it! Just drive! You saw what happened to Luca. It's only a matter of time before it's me or you. You stood in that cellar and swore loyalty. You took an oath.
Isabella would be taken by Tino and crew to, how do I say this? Take care of the baby. It's the A word, basically. And Enzo would be taken by Cesare and others to talk with a very angry Don Torrisi. During this drive, Cesare asked of all the people to get with, why her? I will say, this is a good point to bring up. No matter if it's IRL, or a video game, or a TV show, or a movie, there will always be plenty of other people that you can lock in with. I say people because we're in 2026. There could be people that are gay or whatever, you know, inclusiveness, etc. Enzo had many situations of seeing different women around him, like the night he got initiated into the Torrisi family, or the bar from the last chapter. But for Enzo, there was something special about Isabella from the moment he met her while he was cleaning the horse stables. It was hard for him to fall for someone else the way he did with Isabella. And the same would be the other way around with Isabella seeing him. And I will say, you know, I respect the loyalty he had for her very immensely, very highly. Also, did I mention that Mount Etna is going to be erupting during this? Yeah, so I was right about the weather. I was right about the weather in video games. Whenever it's cloudy or it's overcast, raining, whatever, anything stupid, you're not going to have a fun mission to be dealing with. It's going to be some sort of chaos.
Untie his fucking hands!
Don Torrisi. I love her.
I welcome you into my family. And you betray me from the start.
I wonder what Cesare is gonna do. Is he gonna do anything?
Put up your hands!
Gotta defend yourself now.
You think I would allow it? Huh? Caruso! That you ruin her! Isabella will marry who I tell her to marry. The new Baron Fontanella, and she will live happily ever after.
Did I tell her about that? No, actually, that'd probably make it worse.
I will wipe every trace of you from this earth. Understand?
But Isabella is...
You shut up!
I beg you, don't Tracy, please!
He was a member of a brotherhood, now he's nothing. If rules aren't upheld, what use are they? You show me you have what it takes. You want to be someone? You take your knife and end him.
Oh no!
Cut his fucking throat.
It sounded like he was about to tell his uncle about the pregnancy. Cesare's gonna... Uh-oh, look at that shit. Look at that shit! What? Oh shit! After arriving at Don Torrisi's office, you instantly could tell he was very pissed. It's also funny that Cesare was about to add the frosting on the cake by saying that Isabella was pregnant, but Don Torrisi didn't let him finish his sentence, which I will say is very funny to think Don Torrisi had no clue about Isabella canoodling with Enzo after they were around each other so many times, from the escort to La Festa, and the first time that Tino caught them talking together. It very funny to think about. After the anger is spewed, Mount Etna is erupting. Yeah, I just mentioned that. And now, on top of that, you now have the boss battle against Don Torrisi. It is funny to think after all that crap that Enzo did for Don Torrisi, he would have never been able to get with Isabella, all because of family loyalty and profits for the little sulfur mine. Before the actual boss fight between Enzo and Don Torrisi, you have the largest gunfight in the game with the Torrisi family, with other people and stuff like that, obviously. After that, you'd catch up with Don Torrisi like a tomato. Get it? Cause ketchup.
Oh, will that be the case on Monday night? Wait up.
Both Enzo and Don Torrisi would get wounded pretty substantially during combat, but eventually Enzo would win and end Don Torrisi. Yo, it's not looking good. It's just not looking good, bruh.
I have everything I need.
Oh, gosh.
Look at me. Look me in the eye. You can't change. I tried. For nothing.
But then, here comes Cesare offering a hand to help him up.
Enzo.
Who is that? Oh my. Cesare. No. No. No, 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 no. Don't you dare fall for it. Y'all niggas was just fighting, bruh. No way. There's no way.
Just you and me.
There's no way. What? Is his other hand doesn't have anything in it?
I'm sorry.
Fuck no! Y'all were just fighting. How you gonna trust somebody you was just fighting? That would have been a hell of a screenshot. The power means everything. And that's how it ends. Wow. This would be the last time we see Enzo in the story. We then transition to Isabella, currently being held up by Tino. I should mention as well throughout this entire segment, the eruption of Mount Etna is continuing to get worse, so keep that in mind as we're talking about this. You'll be seeing it as well on your screen. From there, Isabella would make her way to escaping, with help along the way from a fellow woman. But after a while, she eventually gets caught by Tino, and during this, you're basically playing hide and seek to get attacks on Tino, and eventually kill him, which the loudest pack I ever smoked. I was so happy for Isabella when she nuked Tino. Whew, Lord, sorry, I had to get that one out. Sorry about that. Yeah! Oh, easy! Oh shit! Oh yeah, no, it's over, yeah. Goodbye. Goodbye, bozo. Rest in piss. Look at Izzy.
This is a certified hood classic.
I told y'all, man. Hey, Hangar 13, if you're seeing this, and I will add you on Twitter. Or X, or whatever. The next Mafia game, we need to have a female lead. Oh, shit.
Leave me, stay back.
It's Cesare.
Where is Enzo? Where is he? Cesare, where is he?
There's nothing for you here now. You need to go.
From there, Isabella would make her way to Empire Bay via boat, and would then read the note that Enzo wrote for her with tears in a very emotional scene, knowing that Enzo would not get to make the journey to Empire Bay. See? It's like 1907, so that would be pretty accurate.
Amore mio, we'll remember today for the rest of our lives. It's the day we chose a future for our family. My father left me for dead. Our child will live how they choose. Just knowing that makes everything we've been through worthwhile. I can't undo my past, but you helped me to rise above it. And for that you have my love, my loyalty, forever.
Oh,
Enzo.
man. For a game that was $49.99 US at retail, I must say that I enjoyed the story. Was it the bestest story there ever was? No, but it was an enjoyable one that was honestly fun to look back on. Seeing the craziness between Don Torrisi and Don Spadaro, it honestly was jarring. Don Torrisi never really wanted to become anything like Don Spadaro, but when push came to shove, combined with power, he became a monster, and the story told the rest. I will say, it was pretty cool seeing certain character connections in this game, like Luca with Sam, Leo with his younger self, and plenty of others. For the way the story proceeded, it was pretty fast since it was very linear, but I didn't mind it because I was able to look back at certain things after a chapter concluded. As for other things to note that I wasn't really a fan of, I will say I would have liked to see more moments from this story from other perspectives. For example, Isabella's point of view for when she was talking to Father Ciccone. or telling Valentina about her plans with Enzo, or even when Father Ciccone told Tino about Enzo and Isabella's plans during interrogation, leading up to them getting caught. Hell, even the moment Valentina was informed about Luca passing away, just to build an emotional connection to the player to make them really feel more with the game's story, although similar ones have been told through the years. Since it was linear, they could have filled more time with non-direct perspectives in certain moments, especially as the game got more intense. Other than this, I had a very good experience with the story, and this will officially mark the end of the video. I should mention as well, I mentioned it earlier, I liked how you were able to go back on the menu and read certain things like notes and summaries and stuff that you collected. I thought that was really cool to do, especially for me trying to do this summary. It helped out a lot. It helped out a lot with my own look back on my own little walkthrough that I did. It helped out a lot. So shout out to the devs for coming up with that. Alright, well, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. It took a lot of work to do to put this together, and I'm not usually one to ask for much, but if you somehow made it to the end of the video, do your boy a favor and pretty please hit the like button with a slice of Kobe Jack cheese. And if you don't like Kobe Jack cheese, get the Kobe stack. If you don't like that, then I don't know, get another one, shredded cheese. I really don't. Kobe Jack, pepper jack, Munster, whatever you like, Swiss cheese, Swiss beach cheese. Also, no, don't hit the like button with Kobe Jack cheese. Put the cheese down, put it back in the fridge. What are you doing? Anyways, if you made it to the end of the video, I highly appreciate it. I did mention when Ghost of Yotei ended that I would be taking a break from YouTube for a little bit, and that will start after this video goes up, but stay aware that I will still be keeping my senses active and figuring out what to play when I get back and while I'm on break. I'm not gonna ignore gaming. I'm still gonna be keeping an eye on it, but I'm gonna slow down on uploads for I can't make a prediction. I shouldn't do that, but most of April probably. We'll see. Just know though that every time I do take a little break, usually when I come back, I always improve in some sort of way, and when I come back, this improvement is gonna be through the goddamn roof. All right, none of this MacBook, nah. We're gonna improve a lot by the time we come back, so we'll still be posting in the community tab at times as well. Now that is it. So if you enjoyed today's video, you already know what to do. Be sure to make it rain on the like button and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the little notification bell that's next to my name and click all notifications so you don't miss a video when I upload on the channel. Although we are going on a little bit of a break, I just mentioned that, but still turn on notifications anyway for when we come back. You can follow me on my social media pages on Twitter/X, Blue Sky, and Instagram, and stay tuned to the community tab for all updates. Again, we'll still post there from time to time about maybe certain games or something like that. But yeah, man, that's it for now. If you missed Ghost of Yotei, go check that out. We just finished that recently. Mafia the Old Country, obviously. If you missed that walkthrough that I did, feel free to go check that out while I'm on break. And again, we will be back, so we're not going anywhere. We'll be back pretty soon. Hopefully it's no longer than a month and a half, maybe a month, we'll see. But a very quiet April around here. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. See y'all in eons. Not really. See y'all in a little bit, man. We ain't gonna be going that long. See y'all in the next video, man. Peace. What? What? Get your ankles broke. Come here. Come here. Look at his arms! What the fuck?